So yeah, it's just getting the balance, how exactly to meditate. We've gone over them hundreds of times, but still, I still don't know. Because, as you know, and I've said many times, I can, after 5-10 minutes sitting in meditation, I can become quite silent and peaceful. And then, as you know, I'll meditate on emptiness. And you said to me not to get stuck on meditation on emptiness, and to go into Vedantic meditation. In other words, contemplating that I am awareness, my thoughts, my very self, my body, all phenomena are manifestations of consciousness, and to try and identify with the screen of consciousness where all these things are projected. It's just getting the balance between these three, because I don't want to stop becoming silent, because that's just like punching myself in the face. Because I can do it, why not? And then I want to continue meditating on emptiness because I need to, because I've still got self-grasping. But then I also, the most important part is the last part, the nididhyasana part. So I just want to get your opinion on what I just said.
Yes, because Andrew has a background of Buddhism. There is a lot of focusing on meditation on emptiness, shunyata, and that is logical. But in Advaita Vedanta, we are not interested for meditation on emptiness. Why? Because it is simply another approach to self-realization, enlightenment, or moksha. So there is another way of approaching the same goal of self-realization, enlightenment, or moksha without the use of meditation on emptiness. But since Andrew has familiarity with that, there is no problem to combine. As soon as Andrew wants to experience the truth and to do self-inquiry, Atma Vichara, through the Vedantic way, the Advaita Vedanta path, then there is no use of meditation on emptiness, shunyata. It is just completely another approach. So in Advaita Vedanta, first of all, we relax the body, the so-called physical body. Then we relax the breathing. And then we use all the instructions from the Yoga Sastra, which are instructions how to arrive and maintain a peaceful state, which Andrew already is familiar with from the previous path. And then when there is a nice state, both in the physical, so-called physical appearance, and also in the energy body, and also in the breathing, then we start what we call Atma Vichara, or self-inquiry, and we see the truth of our real self. What is our real self? So we use the Sravanam, the study of the scriptures, under the guidance of a competent guru. We take this study and this teaching, this truth, and because also we did mana, which means that we did previously the clarification of the Sravanam, of the teachings and of our understanding, then since we did this clarification together with the guru, and since we did the solving of our questions, then we have this stage of nididhyasanam, which is the Vedantic meditation, where what we want is to internalize this truth and this teaching that we have received and we have clarified, and we want to make it our own truth. We want it not to stay as an information, just a simple understanding, but we want to, as much as possible, to be our own truth and completely to soak up ourselves in this truth. So if Andrew wants to use first this peaceful state, Andrew can arrive on that peaceful state and can use the meditation on emptiness and then continue in the Vedantic approach, in the Vedantic nididhyasana, Vedantic meditation, and contemplate and internalize the Upadesa Mahavakyams, which is, of course, the great statements of the truth, of our real nature, and also of the nature of the Jagrat, the universe. We try then to internalize all these truths.
Yeah.
This is, as a summary, the process that have been that we use in Advaita Vedanta path.
Yeah, that all sounds pretty much what I'm doing anyway. So that's just need to make sure not to get stuck at any of the preceding stages. But yeah, that's great.
Yes, for example, meditation on emptiness, according to the Buddhistic path, can be useful because it creates this recognition of the non-solidity of things, plus the non-solidity of what we call ourselves as a body-mind complex, or as a personality, or as an individual being, an individual entity. So meditation on emptiness gives this clarity that there is no such thing, of course. There is no person, there is no solidity even in what we call the physical body, and there is no solidity anywhere in the universe as well. So after we have this nice clarity of the truth, then we can proceed and we can discover through the Vedantic meditation, through the nididhyasanam process, that, okay, since there is no solidity, since there is nothing out there, there is no out there, and there is no also inside me, there is no me as well, there is no me as a person, as an individual entity, there is no solidity in the apparent universe or the apparent objects and the apparent beings, then what is then the absolute truth? So the Vedantic meditation goes to the next stage, the next step of discovering what is the nature of things, what is the nature of reality, or the real reality. And what is the real reality is what we call in Advaita Vedanta Brahman, which is no other as the gate of awareness. So we use the term awareness or consciousness as because of lack of any other word, but the real reality don't have both of these names. It's only as a matter of as an expression. And here we can use the example of the deep sleep without dreams. When somebody is in the deep sleep without dreams, he don't say, I am awareness, or I am consciousness, or I am Brahman. There is no any saying, there is no any story or narrative there. But yet, we can recall or we can register the nothingness or the blankness of that state of deep sleep without dreams upon waking up after the sleep. So our true nature as pure consciousness or awareness is still there in the deep sleep without dreams. But what is disappeared, what disappeared is the entire universe and the person and the objects and all the things that are appearing real in the so-called waking state.
Yeah. So somebody who's self-realized will never lose awareness. Like when the example you just given of deep sleep, you said that awareness never disappears. What disappears is the conventional universe, if you like. But the awareness is always there. And somebody who's self-realized will always be aware of their awareness. They won't. It's not just a question of recalling something that happened.
Awareness anyway cannot be loose, cannot be disappeared. What is diminishing is the self-belief that I am a person, an individual entity, somebody. This is disappearing in what we call self-realization. But in the first place, there is nobody who can get self-realization, enlightenment, or moksha. It's only a matter of expression. The teachings are using this expression because somebody believes he is a person or an individual entity. And since he or she believes that, then the teaching say, okay, let's start from this false belief and let's work together. And hand by hand, I will point out to you that you have never been an individual entity. And what is the real reality is the impersonal awareness. So when the so-called somebody becomes self-realized or enlightened, or what we call attaining moksha, he don't go around and say, now I am an enlightened one. What he says, he says, I was never somebody. I was never an individual entity. There is only awareness. There is only Brahman. And this is what I am. The so-called others, apparent others, they may say, oh, this person looks an enlightened one, a self-realized one, because he speaks in a very bizarre way. And he is very strange when he is trying to express the truth. So he must be an enlightened one. But from the standpoint of the so-called enlightened one, there is no enlightenment in the first place, because in the first place, there is no somebody who were in bondage.
Yeah.
So since there is only Brahman, since there is only awareness, who can get enlightenment? Who can attain moksha or self-realization? But because we start from the standpoint of illusion, the things are on that context of illusion. So the entire system of teachings is also an illusion. But just like you use a thorn to remove a thorn from your feet, and then you throw it away, the same we use the liberation teachings, the teachings about liberation, to remove the false belief system. that when the false belief system is removed, then we should go beyond the teaching as well.
Yeah.
The teaching is also part of the dream, part of the illusion.
And
It's just you are in the dream state and you believe that you are somebody else, and there is somebody who comes and say, you are not this person that you believe you are somebody else. And the person who says that in the dream state is also part of the dream, isn't it?
mm,
So the same with the so-called enlightened beings and self-realized beings who are trying to convey the truth. They are also part of the dream, or they are part of the. Everything is only a concept. There has never been any bondage, and there has never been any liberation or any enlightenment in the first place. Why? Because there is only one enlightened one, and that is awareness, consciousness, or Brahman. All the rest are only appearances in it. Just a big dream. It's like in Astavakra Gita, where it is mentioned that everything is just the magical show lasting 3 to 5.
mhm.
That's all. It's just a dream, just a show. Uh, there is a belief that you are somebody, and then this belief can be removed by the recognition of the truth. That there is only presence, there is only awareness. And for this, there are many different approaches, different paths leading to the same, let's say, top of the mountain.
Mhm.
But the view of the top of the mountain for different persons who have been using different paths are always the same. So for a great master of Buddhism and a great master of Advaita Vedanta, the view is the same.
Yeah.
Although they have been using different paths to arrive in the top of the mountain. There is only one real reality, which is not by any means a multiplicity or even a duality. And even if we speak about non-duality, uh, non-duality or duality are both concepts. But because people believe in multiplicity or duality, there is the appearance of the teaching speaking of non-duality. Both are concepts. And this we can understand much better in the state of deep sleep without dreams.
Mm.
Nobody there says, oh, now I am on that field of non-duality and I have abandoned duality or multiplicity. There is only pure consciousness, pure awareness. There is no duality, multiplicity, or non-duality. It is like it is. There is only that. And it does not have the name of non-duality, duality, multiplicity, or any other name. It doesn't have even the name Brahman or even the name consciousness or awareness. All these are only mental conceptions, only mental fabrications to just to point out the way out of illusion.
Mhm. So the self-realized one experiences bliss, but Brahman, or awareness or consciousness, is beyond experience. Correct? You can't, it's like it's not an experience.
Experience can be there only if there is what we call in Advaita Vedanta Chitta or reflected consciousness. Otherwise, who can be there to experience something? We need a reflected consciousness. We need somebody who feels that he is somebody in order to have experience. So any kind of experience is a state of mind. But the absolute truth is beyond any experience.
So why does it say then that the self-realized one experiences bliss if they're beyond experience?
The so-called self-realized one is just somebody. And because this apparent somebody don't have a false belief system anymore, he's not identifying himself with a false belief system that he is a body-mind complex.
Mm-hmm.
He don't experience the opposite of bliss, which is suffering, because he is not identified. So he is in a state of pure recognition of the truth. And this disidentification, this non-attachment to a body-mind complex does not create the experience of suffering.
Mm-hmm.
Our true nature is always beyond suffering or happiness, which are both concepts, a story, a narrative. I believe that I am sad because I say to myself the reasons why I need to be sad. I believe happy because I speak to myself, I use a narrative to prove to myself that I should be happy. They're only mental states. The same with what we call samsara and nirvana. They are just one taste, one of the same nature of awareness. They are actually both an illusion. When there is a deep sleep without dreams, which is a very nice way to see the truth and to use it as a technique, a method, there is no any concept of now I am feeling blissful or now I am not feeling happy or now I'm feeling sad. There is no any storytelling, any narrative in the deep sleep without dreams. It's just pure consciousness, awareness, the pure natural state, which is beyond all these kinds of concepts.
I thought, though, in the Ribhu Gita it says I thought existence, bliss, and consciousness, or maybe Adi Shankara says that a lot. Existence, bliss, consciousness, they're not synonymous.
There is this expression in Advaita Vedanta that Brahman has the nature of Satchitananda. Sat, which means truth and existence. Chit, which means consciousness, awareness, and Ananda, which means bliss.
Mm-hmm.
But this nature appears only when there is Chitta Bhasa reflected consciousness. Only when there is somebody.
But that doesn't mean somebody with an ego. That means because the self-realized person knows there's nobody there. Does the
Yeah.
do you mean there has to be the false belief in somebody before to have this existence bliss consciousness? Surely not.
No, I mean that somebody can speak about Satchitananda only if there is somebody there. So
Yeah.
otherwise, speak about that.
Okay.
This is an expression that appears only there is somebody who speaks. But from the standpoint of Brahman, Brahman doesn't say I am Satchitananda. Brahman doesn't say I am existence, consciousness, bliss.
Mm.
Who is that? Only somebody.
Somebody in inverted commas.
Somebody. Only an apparent somebody can speak like that. And this apparent somebody can say, I've experienced bliss, because from the standpoint of this apparent somebody, there is no identification with the body-mind complex. So there is no other narrative of suffering or sadness or any bad emotions.
And that bliss is the nature of Brahman?
It's the nature of Brahman, how it appears when there is Chidabhasa, reflected consciousness.
Okay.
Brahman don't have this narrative. From its standpoint, Brahman doesn't say, I'm experiencing bliss. Brahman doesn't say anything at all.
I mean, if you're not aware, I'm asking these questions because from the ego's point of view, it wants a reward. It wants to experience bliss. If Brahman's non-bliss, who wants? Why bother?
Of course, ego wants a goal to find and to see something, what's in it for me. So the teachings are promising that without identification with the body-mind complex, there will be a peaceful state, a blissful state, which is true.
Mm-hmm.
But that is not because of the removal of samsara for the body-mind complex. So the teaching and self-realization, moksha or enlightenment, does not remove samsara for the body-mind complex. It removes what it removes. It removes the false idea or the false belief that I, awareness, have suffering. It removes this identification. The body-mind complex may continue to experience samsara, suffering, sadness, anger, whatever is to be experienced through the unfoldment of prarabdha karma, the destiny.
Mm.
But when there is the pure recognition, permanent recognition, and conviction of what I am as Brahman, as awareness, completely detachment, then you don't say, I have suffering. You can say, oh, I see this protagonist of this drama movie has now samsara, has now troubles in his destiny, in his prarabdha karma.
Mm-hmm.
But that let him or her have that, but I'm not by any means connected with that. I'm completely neutral. I'm completely detached from this kind of experience. The screen of consciousness or the screen of the cinema where, let's say, Andrew can be seen in this movie, in this drama movie or comedy movie. It can be also.
It's definitely a comedy.
Yeah, Andrew can have funny moments, good moments, bad moments, whatever. But the nature of Andrew, the nature of everything is the screen, not the movie of the protagonist, Andrew, and not the scenario, the life story of Andrew David Boyle. It is the screen. The screen cannot be affected or by any means modified or affected by what appearing in the scenario. It's just like there is a movie where there is a waterfall. As the screen becomes wet? No.
No.
When there is a fire in the movie, does the screen becomes burning?
No.
No. So the same with the true nature. So the true nature, the natural state, the real reality, cannot be affected by any means, cannot be modified. It is always unchanging, always unaffected by whatever appears in its screen. The same like, for example, now there are two apparent individuals, let's say Andrew and Satchitananda. They have an apparent dialogue. And it seems there are two individuals here having an apparent dialogue. But what is listening and what is speaking, and also the background or the substratum where this apparent dialogue appearing is the true nature of both so-called, or in inverted commas, both Andrew and Satchitananda. We don't have here three aspects of reality. We have only one reality. We don't have the body-mind complex Andrew and the body-mind complex Satchitananda, and another factor called space, let's say, or the universe. There is only awareness, consciousness, which itself appears as the body-mind complex Andrew and as the body-mind complex Satchitananda, and as the apparent universe where this event appearing to take place. And if I would the so-called Andrew, where is that which is now aware of this talking, of this sound, and who is aware of this apparent dialogue? Can it be located somewhere? Is it inside the body-mind complex of Andrew? Is it inside this room? Is it inside this planet or this solar system or galaxy or universe? Does it have a particular location?
It feels like it's located, but it's very difficult to pinpoint.
It feels, of course, because of the trillions of dream lifetimes and habitual belief system. I am an individual entity that feels like that. But upon scrutiny, sincere and deep scrutiny, and the effort to find out where is it, that which is aware, it cannot be found somewhere. It cannot be found at a particular location. It is locationless. And it is as well spaceless. It is timeless. It is formless, nameless, ageless. It is a complete pure presence which cannot be imprisoned in a body-mind complex, or even in the entire so-called universe. It cannot be imprisoned. It cannot be inside this box. Even if this box is the entire universe, or the entirety of the universe is, presence, awareness, consciousness cannot be imprisoned or being inside any kind of a box or limitation. Because even through logic, it is not an object that you can put it somewhere. So it is a complete beyond any limitations. It is completely beyond any borders. So that's why we say that this is our true nature, and this cannot have any bondage or the need of any liberation or enlightenment or moksha or self-realization. Because there is that. And how it can be in bondage?
Sure.
Out of its limitlessness and namelessness, and out of anyway, it is nameless, it is borderless, it is timeless, it is spaceless, it is completely beyond any characteristics. So how it can have the need of any liberation or any enlightenment or moksha? Now, the one who believes that he is somebody, of course, he has the need to become free. If somebody believes that he is located inside the brain, let's say, or inside the heart for others, or inside the body somewhere, or even inside what they call in soul. So, of course, if he or she believes that there is a location and he is imprisoned somewhere, of course, he starts to believe that he needs a liberation. Yes. He needs to be saved by this limitation, by these borders. But upon scrutiny again, this somebody cannot be found anywhere. It is just a concept. It is just the I thought, ahamkara. I am, this body-mind complex is only a thought.
Sure.
There is no any entity here on this thought. Thought itself is empty, complete shunyata, completely non-existent as something solid. So where is the somebody? It is a complete illusion, hallucination. So since there is no somebody, the entire teaching is also a complete illusion. A very useful illusion, a very useful process. For whom? For the one who believes he is somebody. As soon as he believes that, and as long as he believes that I'm somebody, there is the need of a spiritual path. There is the need of spiritual practice. There is a need of a guru. There is a need of scriptural study. There is a need of spiritual practices, the dharmic way of lifestyle, and so on and so forth. All these indispensable tools and methods and factors to go out of this self-imposed limitation, self-imposed belief or concept. I am an individual entity. this hallucination must be removed.
Try moving further away from your microphone. It's been distorted. Okay. It's been distorting a little bit. I should have said earlier, actually.
You see, you say, try to go further from your microphone. All these are only lies. There's nobody in the first place who must go away from the microphone. But we are tending to say, when speaking about the body and movements, that I need to move. And immediately there is this identification with the body. So I become the body which needs to be to move somewhere. But what I am is not the body, and there is no any movement in the first place. Any kind of movement is only an illusion. There is no any movement anywhere, because there is no anywhere in the first place. There is no any space. It is also a concept. Time is also a concept. There is only the unchanging, unmodified consciousness, awareness. Okay, then if we cannot discuss something more, maybe to close it for tonight, apparent tonight, and also apparent closing.
Okay.
Okay, then good night and namaste.
Good night. Namaste.